Hello everyone, my name is Phoenix and today I'll try to reproduce the avatar in its final form in Skyrim. I'm writing a mod that expands the capabilities of projectiles. With it you can get homing projectiles as well as projectiles that follow the caster. In addition, you can perform an action once in a certain amount of time during the flight, as well as launch several different projectiles at once. So, my plan is to configure the mod so that when each of the three spells is cast, a circle of projectiles is formed that would circle in their orbits and follow the caster. I will also make it so that, with the fireball cast, a group of homing projectiles is casted. As you can see, An has 3 rings. I will make the projectiles fly in a circle in the same way. As a fire, let there be firebolt. I didn't find a water spell, so there will be ice spike instead, since it looks similar. I will take the earth projectile from the elemental destruction magic mod, which belongs to the boulder spell. The wind sphere is not actually a projectile, it's a visual effect. I will use the bastion spell from the Witcher Science mod. I'll make a fire first. I need to use the follower function. All projectiles will fly around one point. I will shift it so that it's approximately at the level of the player's belt. The projectile will spin along a radius of 100. The plane of rotation is horizontal, so the normal is vertical. Now I will make a trigger that applies statings of the new type of the created projectiles. As a test, I will check whether caster is a player or not. I pick the condition. Form ID is hex 14. Now I need to select the function that calls when the trigger is executed. In this case, I need to apply the settings of the follower function. Copy the ID. I enter the game. Now, after casting any projectile, it flies in such a circle. Looks fine. I'll check firebolt too. Cool. As you can see, the projectile changed the plane of rotation if the player bends over. I will disable it using the setting. Fortunately, the hotkey resets the settings, that is, I don't need to re-enter the game. Okay, it works fine. Now I will make a circle of projectiles appear. The multicast feature is responsible for this. I need to configure the spawn group first. It has settings for the circle of projectiles. The normal is vertical again. There be 10 projectiles. The shape of the spawn projectiles is a circle, the size is 100. Disabling the affecting of caster X rotation again. The sound is singular. Next, I specify the settings of multicast feature. For the current spell, a spawn group will be formed, which I just set up. Each of the new projectiles should also have a follower feature, which I set up at the very beginning. I also need to change the trigger. Nicely. As you can see, the original projectile is flying forward. I'll delete it. Perfect. I'll rename everything to fire and move on. I'm making a ring out of ice spears. Before that I will change the trigger condition. Now it will only fire on firebolt. Checking it out. Great. The difference in settings will only be in the plane rotation. The other parameters are the same. I will also change their ID so that it corresponds to the picture. Fire 120, ice 100, the earth will have 80. I made in a trigger that will trigger on ice per cast. I copy the settings for multicast feature, which will be called in the new trigger. I need to create a new instance of spam group and spam projectiles in an inclined plane too. As you can see, the group will spawn slightly above the center of rotation. I'll put it down. Next is Earth. I copy the trigger, it applies a new instance of multicast feature. I'll show you the spell. I made in a new instance of the multicast feature, it spawns projectiles in another plane and applies them the fallover feature. Changing the plane of rotation. Changing the plane of the spawn group. I write the ID of the projectile in the trigger. Checking it out. Not bad. I'll try to cast 2 spells at once. Cool. In order for me to have time to cast all 4 spells and then to work epically, I need to increase the duration of the projectile flight, namely their range. I will increase it 10 times, so as not to wait for a long time. How can I be an avatar without the ability to cast homing fireballs? That's what I think. I will make it so that when casting a fireball, several fireballs are cast, which will evenly select targets and fly to them. Creating a spawn group. This time the projectiles will appear from the cast point, that is, from the head. Since the needed options are the default options, I'll just delete them. I will also add the initial spread. I am adding a trigger that will change all casted fireballs into groups of fireballs. Pasting. The spread of 10 projectiles as I wanted. Now I'll make them homing. The homing feature is responsible for this. The projectile will maintain its original speed. The time for a full turn will be 1.5 seconds. The projectile will be very accurate. All goals will do, even peaceful ones. I'm an evil avatar. Now I need to add to the multicast options instance so that the created projectiles have the homing feature, which I just set up. An additional parameter is responsible for the uniform distribution of goals within the group. So, final test. That's the kind of mod I have. Mod Skyrim, play C++. Have a nice day.